Welcome. Now we have a special guest. This is Hillary Decesare. She is CEO of the Relaunch Company, and it is incredible that she's here today to share. And I know you're going to be very inspired by her story because she informed me that she actually tested positive for COVID-19 a week ago. And you look amazing, Hillary.
Today I'm feeling a lot better. It has been a 2 week, actually I've had it for 2 weeks, and they told me last Saturday that yes, I did test positive, but yeah, it's been a whirlwind. It really has. I think I was number 40 in San Francisco. And when I did get tested.
You don't want to be at the top of, right?
Yeah. That's so true. That's one of those that, when I was one of the first to get tested. So the good news is they still had tests at the time. And then I assumed that it was just, I didn't have it. There's no way. I wasn't having the traditional symptoms that most people had. I was actually having a runny nose. I was sneezing. I wasn't having a dry cough. If anything, it was kind of, loose. And so I thought, do I really need to get tested? But my doctor said, well, you have too many of these other ones. Let's just get you tested to make sure you don't have the flu.
Right.
And he was concerned that I had some upper respiratory. I was starting to get laryngitis. I actually woke up in the morning and had no voice at all, which is also not what we're hearing from COVID. So He tested me for flu, and it was one of those moments, Tara. He looked at me and I looked at him, and he was all in his, hazmat suit.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, he took me in from the, behind the building and walked me in, and
oh my God.
Then he, he basically said, you don't have the flu. And I rolled my eyes and he rolled his, and we're like, oh no, what does this mean? And a couple days later he called, and then not even about 10 minutes later, the San Francisco Health Department called. I mean, they were on it. And that's a scary call in itself, because you're kind of like pins and needles thinking, what's going to happen, right? What is
absolutely.
Am I going to need to go to the hospital? And I think that I'm a healthy woman. I eat right, I exercise and all that, and I don't get sick. I don't get the flu. I mean, I'm a really healthy person, and so to all of a sudden get hit with this thing, and it just like took me out at the knees. I was like, you feel so tired. You're just exhausted about everything. But it was one of those that, I said to, a couple people that are in the relaunch company. I said, listen, I've relaunched, from a divorce. I've relaunched, my companies. I've relaunched, thousands of clients. And this is quite possibly going to be the biggest relaunch of my life, which it has been.
Absolutely. That's incredible. So do you know how you got it?
You know what? I definitely think that I got it from Aspen is a hotbed. And 2 weeks ago, it was my husband's birthday, and we went skiing. And within a few hours of being there, they had put a note under our door saying 2 people have tested positive in the hotel. I'm in the process of yet another relaunch. I'm selling my house of 25 years. And so I couldn't find any ski clothes to bring on the trip. So I kind of got a few things that, hodgepodge together. I didn't have a jacket and I didn't have ski pants. So I go downstairs.
You weren't the ski buddy this trip, huh?
It was, well, no, actually what I ended up buying was definitely so cute. But I do think that, of course, when I'm talking to this fantastic sales gal, and I'm in the process of relaunching her right there in the middle of the store, because she had just moved areas. She was, divorced. She was trying to get herself back out there in her life. And I'm like sharing the 7-step process of relaunch, the relaunch. And we exchanged numbers, and I was, as soon as I was coming back, I actually have a course that I was starting the Monday I got back from Aspen. So I'm encouraging her to join, and
Oh.
And so she ends up texting me and said, hey, I'm self-quarantining. I've got all of the, signs. I've got everything. And I just looked at my husband, Ian. I'm like, oh no, now
Oh.
we've got like hotel. And then within 2 days, it was full blown. And I did end up doing the course. And I got to tell you, it is what kept me going, because we were already self-quarantined. We were already, staying, sheltering in place in San Francisco starting that Monday. I had gotten back, so 2 weeks ago. And I already knew I was going to be in, like I said, we're selling the house. So we're in an apartment in San Francisco. I already knew that we were going to be here a while. So I started to just, change my approach of, hey, it's not a relaunch that you might be thinking we're going to be going through with the relaunch effect. You're actually going to have it's a different twist right now. I am super sick. I didn't know I had it at that point. But I'm gonna help you get through this new relaunch. And I think that it was because people don't have connection right now. Everyone feels
Absolutely.
very isolated. It gave people a little of that connection of being part of a collective, of being part of a group that's bigger than yourself.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So is your course offered online? You were able to do it from home?
Yeah. So what we offer, the relaunch company has always been designed to be either in person, online, or one-on-one coaching. And even those coaching are very much like we're doing right now with Zoom. And we have what's so fabulous is starting last August, I had kind of this, it was like all of the relaunches that one may have in their entire life kind of hit me all within a 6-month period. And my mom was
Oh my
diagnosed
word.
with terminal cancer in August. My
Of this year?
youngest daughter, this
Oh my
last
God.
year. Yeah, but I got to tell you, there's all this crazy things that things happen for a reason. I was able to literally leverage monthly, because then in September my daughter went away to college. So I was an empty nester, but of
I
course she
have one
didn't
that
pick.
did that for the first time this year too. It's hard.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, ready for this, Tara? She didn't just go in the United States. She went to Rome, Italy. So there were some things that happened.
So,
Oh yeah.
what's the
Yeah.
problem?
So just add that one. And then my mom did pass away in October. And then
Oh,
I ended
sorry.
up, my daughter ended up going into the hospital for emergency surgery in Rome. So I was back over there. And then I decided to sell my house of 25 years. And then, going through that in January. And then now I'm, positive for COVID-19. And I tell the story not because it's, oh my God, woe is me. On the contrary, it's like, I just think, thank you that I have had a methodology, a framework, steps that I have just continued to fall back on, continue to use, because any of those could have been, as you know, any of them could have just completely wrecked me. My mom had been living with me for a year. We brought her up when she was
Oh,
6. So there was just, there was a lot, but that's what people go through. That's life. That is, if it hasn't happened, something is destined to happen. And it's how you can get through those times and come out the other side better is it's what defines you. That's your legacy. Your legacy is how people will view you and they see you in these adverse, situations.
and I love that you're not keeping that a secret. I know it's a big hot topic with social media about putting out, your best face. You only share the good times. You only share, the things that are great, the business successes or whatnot. But I love that you're sharing these things, because when you hit those, it's so great to say, oh my gosh, I got COVID-19. I'm going through a divorce. I just lost my mom. but there's somebody else who not only can relate, but they've gotten out the other side, because those things are so big it feels like you can't. And it sounds like you have tools that you have in place that are helping you be so resilient, because I think this is just a crazy year, and just seeing you sitting there smiling, it's so inspiring. So I would love if you would be willing to share a little bit of your insight.
Well, and I think, thank you for saying that. And again, it's interesting how we as women, I work with a lot of men, we all go through our transitions differently.
Mm-hmm.
We do.
Yes.
And some hit really, so much harder. And that if, for many of us, we put the wall up, right? You just are like, oh God, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. I just need to get through it. And put that wall up, and then we jump over the wall. And what I've seen in, like I said, the thousands of people I've worked with, is if you don't really look at kind of breaking through the wall, it will continue to either come back and keep manifesting in your life. Like you always wonder, like, why does this keep happening to me? Why me? Why can't I have right?
Right.
And so I think that when you look at the ability to, and just, kind of quickly just sharing the tools, and you have to be able to look back and almost like go through this part of releasing the past, that, okay, you've been through a divorce. All right. So what? That's not going to define you.
Yeah.
So, we all are eventually going to lose someone, right? We all know that will initially or inevitably happen to us. So, okay. And I mention this, time and time again with jobs. I mean, I work with people who are selling their company for, hundreds of millions of dollars, and trying to figure out what's next for them. And I work with people that are unhappy in their job and trying to figure out, is this really it? I'm over 40, I'm over 50, and do I really have to be doing this the rest of my, life? I'm not happy, but I can't not have a paycheck.
Yeah.
And so what we really try to do is help people with getting through the releasing of it, and then resetting, and then redesigning. And I love the redesign part of it, because that's where you get to really think about, who do you really want to be, and what does that person's identity really look like. And you almost, by going to the future of where you want to be able to go, then you can back into redesigning actually how you're going to make it happen, and how do you need to behave, and how, what core values would that person in that high level job be, or what core values in that relationship with that man or that woman would you have to be to bring in that type of person, or be that type of person.
Yes.
Super, super interesting to start thinking about. And I fall back a lot on a core. If you think of it like a three-legged stool, and you've got your relationships, you've got your business, you've got your life, and on top, the seat is this concept of love. And most people are like, oh, roll your eyes, roll your eyes. Well, if you think about the opposite of love and being in that energetic state of love, you're in fear.
Fear. Yeah.
And as soon as we can get you to the point of loving your job, loving yourself, loving your relationships that you have, then it's no longer like, oh, I'm killing it at the office, but my relationship's stuck. I'm killing it, I've got my awesome guy or awesome woman in my life, but the other areas of my life are really not happening.
Right.
And it can get to that level with this whole core redesign. It helps with the fourth one, which is realigning, and realigning how you now want to be. And I want to digress just a teeny bit here. I look at right now, we are we are being asked to shelter in place, a majority of us. All right. In the entire world, this has happened to us. And if you think of it like I live in a high rise. So you come in through the revolving doors, through these doors, and you're now in your, let's just say your apartment. Okay. You're in your apartment and you're here, and there's not many choices on what you can do, right? Especially in an apartment, you got small little rooms and you're kind of going, to different rooms to try to, create like, oh, wow, we ate on the balcony or, today. Like,
you love every square inch.
Yeah. Can we just pretend that, hey, it's fresh air? We're going to pretend we're somewhere we're not. Because God help us, and we have to spend another minute in this apartment.
But you're not pretending you're in Aspen anymore.
Yeah, we're not in Aspen. There's no pretending. But what I want to say is that at the end, we know that this too will pass. We know that this is going to have an ending. We know the day will come where the doors will open and you will be invited to step outside again into this new norm, new life, new creation, new redesigned opportunity for you. And so when you sit here and talk about how will you emerge into this new area, it is literally giving you a second chance. You are right now able and willing, and you can do this on your own right now, is that, put your work aside, right? You don't have to work 7 days a week, even though it's so darn easy to do, right? I mean, it's so easy. And I'm sitting here, Tara, I'm laughing at us because we're working today too, which, we won't tell what day we film this. But anyway, so there is this opportunity for you to emerge in truly the best relaunch of your life. And so from there, I just want to keep going with, then you would go into.
I just want to interject real quick. That is so good, Hillary. So powerful.
Thank you.
Take your time.
Something, I tell you, it like starts scratching and it starts to be like, okay, that's why I'm freaking this. Normally I wait.
Anytime you need to stop and cough, feel free. You have a pass today.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But then the next step of this whole thing is around rebranding. And rebranding becomes so important. And you, of all people, with what you're doing right now and your brilliant business and taking, the art of photograph and creating it now into the business presence of who you want to be. What we look at is, if you're going to rebrand yourself, will it be in alignment? Will it be part of resetting you? Will it be part of the release? Will it be part of all of this? And there's so many, I'm trying to give you the highest level, and there's so many different
nuances to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's an incredible moment when you realize that your stories and your beliefs and who you are and how you're dressing and how you're carrying yourself throughout life is most likely not dictated on specifically how you want to be in the next chapter of your life. And so you have this opportunity to rewrite, which is so incredible, rewriting your future right now. I mean, this is crazy that we're being given this opportunity. And then this whole concept around the idea of, really it has to do with the realignment. Once you do that and you've got your rebrand, it's a refresh. It's a revealing you. It's a revealing you. And guess what? You got to reveal yourself in all forms, across all social media, across the way that you're now going to be living your life in the external world, not just this internal world that we're all living in right now, right? and then you get to walk out and you get to restart yourself. And that's the biggest relaunch. That's the completion of the relaunch. And you can have, at any age, any stage, a relaunch. And I just happen to know 100% that we're all in the same relaunch going through it right now, no matter who you are.
You are forced, whether you want it or not, you are relaunching.
You are relaunching. And if you're not taking advantage of the time to really do a checkmate and say, yeah, this is who I really want to be, then you're going to be that one emerging where others are going to be passing you up, passing you up in business, passing you up in relationships, passing you up. You know, you walk around, and I can go down to the Embarcadero in a few days, as long as I keep my social distancing. It's been 2 weeks and I haven't done anything. So, but I can see the couples walking along. I can see, you know, the families playing and catching, you know, footballs, and I can see all this. And it just, you know, again, I mentioned the word collective, and we have a membership group called the Relaunch Collective. And why is it so important?
I love that word, by the way, collective, especially listening to what you're talking about. That's really powerful.
But Tara, you know, the idea is that for so long, we all felt like we were alone, right? We're alone in this journey. And when you become a part of something bigger than yourself, the collective, and you start to help others, and you start to, you know, we all have experiences, we all have wisdom. And I don't believe that I'm the only one that in the Relaunch Collective, you know, has something to say. I think I've got like, you know, not even the inch deep. I've got like nothing. It's like everybody contributes. Everybody helps, you know, allowing for people to have their own relaunches during their own time. You know, some get through things really fast. Others, it takes more time.
Right.
And I think that that's where right now, this disconnection, this idea of being, you know, isolated is so difficult. I do want to mention, and I say this pretty much on everything I'm doing these days. There are people that you know, and you might have a spouse or a partner, and you might have kids at home, and you know, have people around you, but there are so many people that are by themselves right now, isolated, lonely. Loneliness was one of the biggest epidemics before anything happened. And now they are not allowed to be able to go to the gym and be able to, you know, really socialize. So I implore you to really think about the people that you know and reach out to them. Reach out on, you know, a phone call, a FaceTime, and just say, I'm thinking about you. It goes so far. It just, it really, right now, to me.
I think it's powerful. One of the reasons I wanted to do this summit right now is because when you're going through something difficult, it's easy to feel sorry for yourself, or you know, the panic, you know, we're all kind of laughing a little bit. We're laughing now because there still is some out there, but the toilet paper hoarding, you know, looking at your own needs and trying to, you know, self-focus and take care of yourself and your family. But in times like this, especially like you said, everybody is going through this. It is so important to take the focus off of yourself and put it on to others. So I just love what you're doing, that you're not sitting at home feeling sorry for yourself. You're out spreading the word and positivity and your message and the tools that you have. So even just taking a step, like you said, to reach out to someone who you know is alone or might be really afraid. A lot of people are dealing with fear and uncertainty. That is just excellent advice. Thank you, Hillary.
Well, and also, Tara, one other point is that, you know, you hear a lot these days, you know, focus on the controllables. And the steps I just told you, those are controllables. Those are things that you can actually be working on. And I mentioned the idea of, you know, stop the business work and start really thinking about the personal work. Personal work on yourself that you will never regret. You will never, ever, ever regret doing those things for you during this time. So, you know, stop the Marie Kondo and stop doing all of the different closets and start actually thinking about your, you know, your head, you know, getting out of your head into your heart during this time. And that's the focus. That's where we need to be putting our time and our thoughts.
Okay, I have a question for you, Hillary. I'm like you. I like to take things head on and figure out my role in situations and, you know, what needs to change with me, or self-improvement and things like that. But I know there's a lot of people that doesn't come easily to them. It feels awkward or uncomfortable. What would be the first step to take if you wanted to start to, you know, you said put the focus inside and work on things? What would be, you know, something that you could just get started with without it being, you know, a whole overhaul right away?
So there's actually a couple things I would do right away, and it is, and I know this is going to sound so crazy, but if you go
Nothing
to,
sounds crazy these days.
yeah, that's true. But the topic, you're going to be like, what? Wow, crazy. Okay, so if you go to the relaunchco.com, relaunchco.com, and there is a document called the Boyfriend Bucket List.
Okay.
Now, for those people out there that are like,
Will my husband be mad that I go download this?
That's the thing. That's what's so great about this, is that it's not, don't think of it as a boyfriend in that sense. Think of it as, how can you spice up your marriage? How can you spice up your life? How can you, if you're single, great, in the future with, you know, boyfriend. But what I love about this exercise, and we have, you know, I mean, this is what I love doing, is these mini courses with exercises. This one I just happened to, when you said that, I'm like, oh, I think I would do that. Okay. We're in a position right now where people have forgotten about their dreams, their bucket list, right? It's like it's so far out there. And so what this does is it helps you look at, from A to Z, all of the different things that, when we're free again, which we will be, being able to go out and do things. And what's nice about this document is that it gets you to circle the things that you want to do with your girlfriends, 3 of them, the things that you want to do with yourself, because again, this is a major growth opportunity for us. And so let's not, when the day of revolving doors open and you leave, let's not forget what we've learned during this time either. And then it gives you an opportunity to either do an activity in the future with your boyfriend, your husband, but it kind of sets you down the path of thinking about what you ultimately want to have happen in the future. And so, you know, I wasn't planning to even talk about that today, but I really think for those that are, you know, what's my first step? What's my first step? It's
we're stuck in that cycle of fear or thinking this is all that there is. Because it's only been a couple weeks, but I start to feel like that a little bit. So,
and it makes sense. I mean, you know, people, Tera, right now, it is, you know, it is a time of unknown. You know, you don't know if a family member is going to get it. You don't know if you're going to get it. You don't know what your symptoms will be. You don't know, will there be, if you have to go to the hospital, space for you. I mean, those are all, you don't know if you're going to have a job when you get in this whole thing. I mean, those are all very scary, very real, right here, right now, you know, anxieties and fears and stresses that we have. But there's also the moment of, what can you do about that? And I always say, you've got to be focused on what you can control and leave the uncontrollables to whatever will be, will be. You cannot control them. You can't. So instead, focus on the controllables. And we know we're going to get out of this situation. We do. When you do get out of it, be ready to hit the ground running. Be ready to say, you know what I wanted to do that I haven't done. I've talked about it. You know, there was something that my mom and I did right before she passed. We had talked about going to this week retreat forever. Why didn't we do it? Because there was always something else.
Right.
We finally did it 6 weeks before my mom passed. And you know, it was the most beautiful thing. It was just, you know, it was like honestly a gift to me. But it also made me realize how many other people out there aren't doing what they really want to be doing in life, because there's always reasons that are standing in front of them. There's always, I don't have time for this. I don't have the ability to do this. I don't have, I'll do it next year. I'll do it the year after. And it never happens. So the boyfriend bucket list, and it is just a fun name. It really gets you thinking. And for those that like, crossword puzzles, or they like, some of these others that you have to really think about, like what would start with A that you want to go do? What would start with B? And you get as specific as you possibly can. But the key is not to stop there. The key is really to then decide who are you going to do that with.
Man.
And then that's just, that's the money shot. That's when you get out of this, confinement, you get out and you say, you know what, a lot of people are already starting to say, oh God, this year, was supposed to be like really, not, what do they say? 2019 was such a terrible year, and 2020 was supposed to be my year, and now look, first quarter, it's already a disaster. And I'm like, you know what?
Year.
This is not going to define how your year is going. This is going to allow you to have the greatest year of your life, because you're going to prepare for things that you want to make sure you do before the end of the year. And who do you want to do them with? Who are you truly feeling disconnected to right now? Who do you really, want to keep actively friendships going in the future? Those are the people that I want you to be putting down in this exercise as, you know what, start talking about those things that you want to do now. Start to calendar up. No events are being scheduled right now, right? But a lot of things that you can think about, it's not going to dictate if there's, a concert that's going to come out in July, or, Bottle Rock is going to happen, or Coachella, or any of these things. There's a bunch of things that you can plan.
Right.
And that's what I want you to be thinking about. And it's all about this whole idea of, when you can start to look at the future and you have things that you're genuinely starting to get like excited about, then your relaunch that you're going through right now is meaningful. What I don't want to have happen is that this becomes something that's not meaningful for you all.
Man, Hillary, you are such a treasure trove. It's amazing. I just threw something out there at you and you just pull out this incredible tool. That's amazing. I'm just thinking of how powerful just that exercise alone is. And it's the perfect solution to taking the first step, thinking past the fear and the situation, and moving forward towards your relaunch. That's incredible. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for planning this and putting it together. I know that you have had no sleep and you are doing an amazing job. Amazing. I'm excited to follow up with you and see, what relaunches are happening with you, because I think big things are to come.
Oh, thank you. I certainly hope so. And I hope that you continue to recover, and your family as well.
Thank you. We are well on our way. And my husband, who knows how this happened? He is asymptomatic. Does not have any symptoms. Well, actually, no, it's been great because he's been doing a lot of the cooking, but I laugh because what have we had? We've had lamb chops, pork chops.
Oh my word.
Steak, ham, ragu meat. I'm like, oh my God, mercy on all the meat, please.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, the last thing I just wanted to say, Tara, is that one thing that I would really love to be able to give the people listening on this is the ability to connect with others and be able to be a part of the collective. And so for the people listening, we would like below to link to, we have the membership, which is usually $47 a month. And we're going to give every one of your viewers the membership for $1 for the first month, just to see. If you don't like it at the end, my gosh, that's it, drop out, no problem, you won't get charged. But I do want to be able to, at this point, have people come together and let's help each other with this important, significant relaunch that we're all going through.
That is so generous of you. What an incredible gift to give people right now while you're lonely inside, to have that group of people. And it just, people attract like people, and just how amazing you are. I can only imagine the culmination of all of that in that group. So thank you so much for your generosity and also your time and willingness to participate in this summit despite everything that you have going on. Thank you so much.
Very welcome, and thank you for including me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Take care.